Welcome to the Racing Nuggets podcast. I'm PJ Noodleman, joined by my co-host, Mr. Dan Plan of the Midwest Racing Connection. Hello, Dan.
Hello.
I'm
not sideways.
Yeah. And joining us. No, you're good. You're good, Greg.
Okay.
Joining us today is none other than Mr. Greg McKarns. You wear a lot of hats. I don't even know quite how to introduce you now, but you and your wife are the proprietors of the Madison Speedway, Angel Park Speedway, and you recently sold the Midwest Tour. So that had a lot of people thinking, well, what are they going to do now? But y'all have 2 tracks yet that you're running, right?
Yeah, and actually lacrosse will be more involved at lacrosse moving forward. So with Chuck Deary retiring there. So it's going to be a busy summer, no doubt about it.
And I see you're wearing your good promotion. I'm wearing my Oktoberfest sweatshirt, by the way. You're wearing the High School Racing Association. That's another cool project. You kind of have your fingers into a lot of different things, don't you?
I tell you, the high school racing deal, Jonathan Eckelberg, it was a year ago Saturday. We met with him, Chuck Deary and I did, and he came on board as the director for the high school racing, and he's just grown that by leaps and bounds. We were at the Melrose Maduro School, and 3 kids got their varsity letter for auto racing, and could not quit smiling. It's awesome.
That is cool for kids to be able to letter in auto racing in school. I mean, what a concept.
Yeah, where was that, 80 years ago when I was
right? Yeah, I grew up with Steve Rubeck in little old Kirkland, Illinois, and I know he would have lettered multiple times probably in that if that had been available back then. I probably would have too. Heck.
Just a neat deal to see those guys going. It's just there's a lot of kids that have mechanical ability and maybe not sports ability, but they should be celebrated also. And the high school racing has shown that. And then Beaver Dam just signed on, and Jonathan's working on some more tracks, so it's going to be I think we'll have Wisconsin pretty well covered, and it sounds like we're going to go into Illinois. So pretty neat deal.
Nice. Very nice. How about Minnesota? I'll ask for Dan Plan, who's up there.
That would be nice. I'll put the word out. Let me know if you need.
Yeah, nothing yet, but the more people spreading the word, it's a simple deal. Doesn't cost the tracks anything. Doesn't cost the schools anything, and we just we want to get these kids involved and give them an outlet to show their abilities.
Well, we'll put in the show notes here how to get in touch with Jonathan Eckelberg if anyone wants to have their school involved. I mean, I'm assuming this could be something nationwide, right?
Yeah. So we actually, it came to be December of 19. And when we left Speed Weeks in 2020, right before the pandemic hit, we had tracks in 8 states interested. Then obviously with fighting to get our tracks back open and everything else, it kind of went on the back burner, but Jonathan's done a good job, and we're going to continue to spread that word. He's talking to ADs at various schools about the lettering, and we've got a big announcement coming up for the lacrosse banquet here in a few weeks, and just a lot of exciting things going on there.
Love it. I love it. Well, now I saw you were at PRI, the big gathering of everyone. I saw you were there, and you were involved in the audience as well with that ASA Stars National Tour. Are you also involved with that then too, or were you just kind of there out of curiosity?
Angie and I are promoting 2 of the events. So the event here at Madison, and then also the event at Wisconsin International Raceway, August 1st. So those 2 events are part of the Stars National Tour. And then obviously there's an impact on the Midwest Tour also, which we have sold, but we're helping pass the baton, so to speak, and going to help with the transition there. But we're still promoting 7 or 8 of those shows. So it's not like we're going away. It's just we kind of needed to take a step back on the Midwest Tour front to allow it to go forward. So we knew what Bob's plans were, and we said it might be easier if you just acquire the Midwest Tour. We'll promote the events we want to promote within that, and then we can we'll figure it out from there. But so far so good, and the response has been really strong to the ASA Stars National Tour. We just got the Midwest Tour schedule out on Monday, and excited to get the season going.
Nice. I know you may not have this answer, but there was quite a bit of hullabaloo because you have Negasaurus Rexes anywhere about people well, this basically means the little guys can't compete, but that's not true. I mean, even though there might be a little bit of different rules, I'm assuming that this works kind of like the Big 8 series did, where local folks can still run in these races too.
Yeah, absolutely. We would never shut the door to that. We work well with the tracks, whether it be Slinger, Grundy, Fox River Racing Club, that have a super late model platform to keep the rules in line so that a guy can come run at his home track or load up the trailer and come up to Wausau for the Larry Deachin's Memorial in July. We had Andy Monday came over unexpected for that this year. So you just, you want to keep that door open. And from a Midwest Tour standpoint, really the only thing that's changed is that the Joe Shear Classic and the Gander Auto Group 250 at WIR are part of the national, but you can, those guys and teams can still run those. It's not a good old boys club or anything like that. We're trying to keep everything strong, and I think this will help moving forward. Obviously, year one there'll be there's going to be growing pains. There always is, but we can all sit on the keyboard and be negative, or we can all help to find a solution. And I gave up Facebook because I like to find the solution instead of being a negative Nelly.
I hear you on that. Boy, there was a lot of negative people out there about that. But again, you're going to have that in anything. It doesn't matter what you do. So
yeah, and it's new. So I mean, we get it. It's new, and people don't like change. But I think in the long term, Bob Sargent and his team. You worked with Mark Gundrum on the ASA stuff. Mark helped with when the state fair, Minnesota State Fair, dropped racing, and we moved that race to Elko. I was the general manager there at the time, and we worked really well together. Joe Balish was involved, and you have Joe and Mark involved in this new venture with ASA again. And Bob Sargent just has a really good team. His dirt background with UMP late models and so on, we got confidence that good things are to come.
Awesome. Dan, if you don't have anything, I'm going to just keep rolling, but I don't want to exclude you.
I'm really looking forward to getting super late models back in my home state for the first time in 5 years. So really looking forward to that. Thanks to everybody that made that happen. And
yeah, how about that? That's awesome.
That is super cool. I know there's at least, there's probably still a dozen guys around here that have cars, and then you bring in the touring guys, and it'll be a good show. I'm imagining we don't have support divisions defined at this time yet. That'll be something coming out later down the road.
Yeah, I was just told that September 23rd put Elko on the Midwest Tour schedule, and having spent 3 years at Elko, we have a lot of friends up there, and Ange and I both went to school in La Crosse, and a lot of our friends moved up to the Twin Cities. So it's always we always enjoy being able to get back to that track, and it's such a beautiful track. It actually pained me not to have races there. So good to be back at Elko. And I heard they're building a quick trip or something out there that way. It's probably good that wasn't there when I was there. I'd be 400 pounds.
I would imagine the tour races are going to continue under the same format this year. The Midwest Tour races with qualifying races and an inversion for the feature.
Yeah, I mean, I think you show up to whether you show up to Grundy for the Wayne Carter Classic or show up to Wausau for the Larry Deachin's Memorial, it's going to have that same feel as it always has. It's the same officials, the same rules. Nothing's really changed on the Midwest Tour front, minus those two races that'll be part of the national. But otherwise, it's, we believe in inversions in the Midwest. We believe in respectful racing in the Midwest, and I don't see any of that changing.
Awesome. And
What's
it been like running a dirt track the last few years? I think that's the first one you've been involved in your promotional career.
Yeah, that was actually, we had talked about, Ange and I used to go there on dates and on Sunday nights, even as far back as when we were at Rockford. And there was always some interest there. And then we had talked about when the lease became available that we would pursue it. And then COVID hit, and we started both of our, the two tracks in Dane County, Madison, which is our track, and then Angel Park, which wasn't our track. We're both close, so we started working together and built that relationship, and it came to be. And we actually had gotten outbid, and I went to Speed Weeks, and I was just a miserable bum, and came back, and we were, of all things, it was -6, and we're trying to buy a tow truck for lacrosse at an auction, and my phone dinged, and it was Angel Park saying we needed to talk, and next thing you know, we had a dirt track. So and the first event I did during COVID was that I think I was brought in as the fall guy in case it all, had the major breakout. But we were the third promoter on a show Father's Day at Wilmot. So that was actually my first dirt race to promote. And then the next year we ended up with a dirt track.
Well, I was just going to say they're both different animals, the dirt and the asphalt. So if you could kind of combine the best aspects of each, what would they be?
From a Greg McKarns standpoint, the dirt track, we sell tickets, and I always say we sell tickets for a living. So do not have to mess with the rules, don't have to touch the rules, don't have to talk about rules. I can worry about advertising and selling sponsorship and selling tickets and putting the best show on for the fans. Really enjoy that. And that actually lent itself to the realizing that it'd be okay to let someone else handle those duties with the tour and still be able to promote the races we want, whether it's Dixieland or the two here at Madison or Oktoberfest or any of those shows. We're not involved in the track prep at Angel Park. The firemen handle that. And so that's the only way that it was going to be able to work for us. For instance, Labor Day weekend, we had the Firemen's Nationals on Sunday and Monday, but we also have, we're having enduro at Lacrosse Saturday. We have the Midwest Tour Jim Sauter Classic at the Dells on Saturday. Not much time for Greg to be out there prepping the track and filling the water truck. So that was an important element in all that. But, I think we've been fairly well received by the dirt community. Obviously, we're learning, but 20 years promoting asphalt racing and being in it longer than that in my life, it's been a fun challenge. The mud out last Labor Day wasn't so much fun, and but it's at the end of the day, it's racing. And I've always said, whether it was I-44 Speedway or Elko or Lacrosse or Rockford or Madison, it's all the pit area is full of all the same characters. They just have different names and maybe a different number on the side of the car. But I mean, this guy exists at every track in America, and that guy exists at every track in America. They're just a different name, but they're, it's fun to see. So we're adapting and looking forward to year 3 there at Angel Park.
Nice. That ASA National Stars National Tour is obviously kind of a step in that direction. I think trying to get a cohesive set of rules that are adhered to across the nation. I mean, do you see that ever happening where we could get to that point with asphalt, or is that always going to be a sticky wicket?
Well, as much as we want to talk that dirt has it all together, there's still variations, right? There's like 8 different midget rules. IMCA has a very nice modified package, but then if you have a USMTS car, it doesn't necessarily transfer over. So obviously they do a better job than we have in asphalt, and it's set a goal. When we first bought Madison and the tour, I was bound and determined that we were going to make this a 4-barrel world back in the Midwest. And if you go back in time, my super late shows that we did at Rockford, mainly the National Short Track Championships, we had always had those as a 4-barrel show. And so I was pretty bullish and pretty confident that it was going to be. But with the engine packages that exist in the Midwest, it's easy to sit and write a perfect rule book if you don't take into consideration everything that's already out there. But you have to take into consideration what engines are in the shops, what drivers have, what they can afford. Running a 4-barrel car every week at a weekly Thursday night show at Kakana may not be feasible in the long run. And the 2-barrel on the Ace has been a proven, whatever we're at, 20 plus years there at Kakana with a strong success. So you can't just turn your back on that. So it's definitely going to take people smarter than I am to pull it all together, but at least you have everyone in the same room.
Yeah, I was actually encouraged to see that at that PRI conference where you guys were all going live, just scanning across the room. It was like, oh, I see so and so. There's so and so and so and so. So there's a lot of heavy hitters that are all kind of putting their heads together on this. So it's exciting to me in that regard.
Absolutely. So the March 11th is going to show a lot, and then we go May 7th at Madison here for the Joe Shear Classic, and then that whole Stars National Tour is up and running, and I'm very proud of the schedule that everyone put together. We kind of challenged each other to make sure that we had the races that matter. You could just go to XYZ Speedway and put on a race in June, but what does it really mean? And we're able to capture races that have historical, the list of winners, the ASA ties, tying into North Wilkesboro with the All-Star race. Obviously, we're very proud of Joe Shear Classic. Getting the Slinger Nationals was a huge pickup for the national tour. We're very confident the Gander Auto Group 250 has been going very strong, and I think it only adds to that. And then you go, Winchester 400, All-American 400, Glass City at Toledo. I mean, these are races that have staying power within the industry, and the national tour just bolsters them and puts them in the spotlight.
Absolutely. Iconic. They're iconic for sure. And so are the trophies, Greg, that you end up having with those little diecast cars at these. Are you going to continue that trend, I hope?
Yeah. So Don Rich is a old model maker out of Chicagoland, and we actually we sat with him one night at Jefferson Speedway, just a random Saturday night. We got talking, and I knew that he did the models, and he's friends with Stan Kalzinski. That was my dad's old publicist for Artco, and so there's a connection there. And someone posted that they're moving to Arizona, and they had a Joe Shear car and a Larry Deachin's car and a Frank Kalinsky car. And I'm like, well, maybe I should buy those. Wonder if we could use them. And that's how it all started. And then I realized that Don was the one that did it. And so I told him make as many Jim Sauter, Larry Deachin's, Dick Trickle, and Joe Shear cars as he cares to. And we'll fill the closet. So if you go to Weir's Machine, there's a closet full of diecast cars right now for the next, I think we probably got enough for 7 or 8 years right now. And I just last week or a couple of weeks ago, just ordered more. So he goes, you got this car. Yeah, go ahead and build it. We'll
nice.
Take it. And I
those
think
really are great.
Yeah. I think it pays. It's more than just a plastic trophy, right? It just shows you. I mean, Joe Shear's cars were so beautiful. Larry Deachin's was just a star, winning from coast to coast, that got taken too early, and always had good looking cars. I grew up with number 5 Jim Sauter shirts on, so I'm a sucker for any Jim Sauter car. And obviously the trickle cars are iconic. So we brought that into the fest this year. Was the first year that we had the diecast in there. But Weir's Machine, Chad's got some ideas. I got some ideas. So I think between the two, there's going to be I might have to have a few more beers to fine tune it, but extra always.
I love it. Do you have plans with your son now that he's off to college to get him brought into the family business too? Is that the eventual end game?
It's obviously up to him. He worked snowball derby last year. They won, but they were eliminated from the playoffs, and getting on the bus, he goes, "Can you book my ticket to snowball?" And the school was really good. They understood what he feels like he wants to do. Internally, we talk all the time, you don't have to do this. And my parents had the same discussions with me throughout my teenage years. There's other options out there. But if that's what he wants to do, we'll support it. He went and worked the cup race at Atlanta. He's got some offers to do some more cup stuff. He's not sure, where his career is going to go. And to that point, our 15-year-old daughter, she just loves Angel Park. So she has interest there. But we tell her, you don't have to do this. But if that's the path they want to go, obviously we'll support them however we can. Austin Wells, who when we bought Madison, Austin grew up here at MIS, and his parents worked here for years, and we kind of we call him our adopted son. and he's been going to the promoters meetings with us and so on. And once we got Angel Park, he said he'd like the racetrack, so we got Angel Park, and we threw the keys to him essentially and turned him loose. I set the schedule and worked with the sanctioning bodies, but he handled the advertising and everything else, and just just did a great job the last 2 years. And Brian Minders also works for us, and he's been working there. And then Alex Gilhart, you'll see the young man on the flag stand. He has aspirations to go into racing also. So we got some up and comers not named McKarns that we're trying to help. But Austin, with Chuck Deary's retirement, he's the new head man come January 1st at lacrosse, and he graduated from UWL, and he's been living in West Salem for a year and a half now, or maybe even 2 years. But he's in a position to do that. And our hope is for the next 14 years, or maybe even longer, that we'll continue the tradition of motorsports management there in West Salem and Oktoberfest and all those good things. And we believe that we have the young man to take us into the future there.
I love it.
Any plans on shipping your kids off to Missouri to run a track when they're ready, or? No. I graduated early, and I had the job offer before college to go run I-44 for Bill Don Willard. And I graduated early, ran his racetrack, and unfortunately he was on his third bout with cancer, and we were 22, and they wanted us to buy a racetrack for over $1 million. And so then we ended up at Elko from there. But so that track's still there. It's a beautiful track. And, there's a lot of beautiful tracks. I keep, like, hey, we should buy this track instead of Al going to school. He could, run this racetrack, and we could be making money instead of spending money. Doesn't always work that way in this racing deal. A lot of times you're spending money too. What an education. So no, I think we'll keep them in Wisconsin, a little closer to home, but I guess time will tell.
I love it. Greg, thank you so much for taking our time with us today and to chat. It's always good to kind of hear it from your mouth about what's going on and things. Do you have any other final thoughts that you want to share?
There's just for those with more questions on the Midwest Tour, Bob Sargent, Joe Ballish are going to be at our Midwest Racers auction January 6th and 7th in West Bend. The meeting will be on the 7th. I think it was at 2:00 on that Saturday afternoon. But if you have more questions, whether race team, what have you, feel free to come to that meeting and check out the auction new location, and hopefully it's our new home there in just north of Slinger. But just again, I know promoters are always excited and all that good stuff, but I just in talking to my friends that are into racing, like that Midwest Tour schedule with those 12 races is pretty spectacular. And that Stars Tour, having Slinger Nationals, having Joe Shear Classic, having the Dixieland or Gandred Auto Group 250, it's those races. Sometimes the Midwest people don't quite boast enough sometimes. And we hear about all these marquee events, and it's the crown jewel, and it's this and it's that. And you look in the stands, and the fan support isn't necessarily there, and they're driving over each other. Like I don't understand that style of racing. So I'm glad that we have 3 marquee events on a national tour, and even if those are if those aren't your cup of tea, we got 12 Midwest Tour events that are just the best in the nation. Midwest is best is what we say. Fest is best. Midwest is best. I'll always put the pedigree of our race car drivers on any Friday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday short track or any of the tours around here. I mean, everything from 602 late models to trucks. You look at guys like James Swan, and you look at Tom Carlson and those deals, and they could be, they're top of their game anywhere they go. And it runs right up to the top. I think we got the best 4-cylinder racers. There's just something special about the Midwest, and can't wait to continue that tradition here and carry on those short track values that we hold so dear.
I think 2023 is going to be a huge year, not just for the Midwest, but for racing in general.
Amen. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Any other things you want to ask, Dan? I kind of took hold there.
No, I think I got all my questions answered. Good to see Greg. Looking forward to seeing him back at Elko in September of this year. I'm glad it's the 23rd, not the 30th, because my kid's getting married on the 30th. So I was really, really concerned when that race was going to be. That's a wedding. I've missed several weddings, but I can't miss that one.
Yeah, I think I've been to 6 weddings in my life, including mine.
Yeah, most of mine are
mainly racing people normally don't get married in race season, so I tend to make those ones, and that's about it.
That's funny. That's funny. Well, Greg, thank you again for joining us and sharing some of your knowledge, and always a pleasure to chat with you.
You bet. Thanks for having me on.